And then I'll have my film editor put a picture for the people watching the video. All right, so this is part 3 of at least a 4-part series. My goal is to do part 4 next semester. I might have to do a part 5. I admitted that at the end of part 2. We'll see. I don't know what my pace is like. I want to apologize in advance because there's a lot of moving parts in this topic. There's a lot of names, a lot of dates, and my goal is to be a storyteller and not blast you with a bunch of names and dates. So one of the things that I'm going to try and do is condense just enough that I'm keeping it a coherent story, but at the same time without losing too much of the detail. And to the extent to which I fail to do that, I'm apologizing now, because it's tough. And then, you know, some of you already know me, and you know that I'm going to dive at some point into a topic too far and eat up too much time, and it'll just derail the rest of the talk. And then that's why I'm going to probably have to do a 5-part series. That's punishment for the fact that I didn't stick to the schedule. Anyway, so that's something that I just thought I'd just bring out to begin with. So in part 2, well, so let me just sort of summarize, but not really summarize. Part 1 is the Crusades start, and the Crusades actually capture 4 states. So the Crusaders leave Central Europe. They're mostly French and German. They work their way through the Roman Empire. People incorrectly call the Roman Empire the Byzantine Empire. There's no such thing. Nobody ever called themselves the Byzantine Empire. The thing that you sometimes incorrectly call the Byzantine Empire called itself the Roman Empire. So it was the Roman Empire. They work their way through the Roman Empire eventually. They go through the Kingdom of Hungary on the way to the Roman Empire. It's a mess. Some of them are plundering. Some of them are not really soldiers. They're really just brigands. Long story short, they fight their way through Anatolia. The Sultanate of Rum was a Turkish kingdom in the middle of what is today Turkey that had been fighting the Roman Empire successfully for the most part, although it had some setbacks. There's a little bit of fighting that goes on between them and the Crusaders. The Crusaders get to Syria and they carve off their first state. The first state is the county of Edessa. Edessa is northern Syria and then southern Turkey. The city itself is Şanlıurfa in Turkey. And then they take over the Principality of Antioch. This is in 1098. So 1096 is when the Pope called for the Crusades. It takes them 2 years before they get to Syria. They carve off 2 little states. And then in 1099, they actually conquer Jerusalem and create the Kingdom of Jerusalem. The guy that takes over is named Godfrey de Bouillon. He never calls himself a king, even though he establishes the Kingdom of Jerusalem. He only rules for a few months. He dies. And he's replaced by Baldwin I, who's the first crowned king of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. And they take off. 3 years later, the Crusaders also capture the county of Tripoli. Tripoli is a city in Lebanon. And so there are 4 Outre-mer states, 4 Crusader states. Those 4 Crusader states sort of hit their high water mark in 1024. In 1024, they capture the city of Tyre. The Arabs call it Sur. It's in southern Lebanon. When they capture Tyre, that sort of sinks their control of Syria, and it makes it so that they're the indisputable masters of Western Syria, not Central Syria by any means, because they didn't capture Damascus and they didn't capture Aleppo yet. And that's the high water mark for the Crusaders. Roger II, the king of Sicily, that guy, the Norman king of Sicily, who, by the way, learned Arabic. He was fluent in Arabic. He spoke French. He spoke Latin. He was capable of talking to his subjects. He created a bureaucracy that eventually would include Muslims and Jews in his bureaucracy.